You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Well, hey, you've seen this market volatility. The markets are at the mercy of the Federal Reserve right now, and you're wondering what to do about it. Well, this person has been through many a downturn and a bull market as well. Talking about Dudley Baker. The site is commonstockwarrants.com. Dudley, it's great to have you back on, and I hope you are well. Right now, Dudley's on the phone because we can't get Zoom to do the proper audio, but I wanted to touch base with you, Dudley, to get your take on the volatility, what's going on in the market now.
Okay, no, great to be with you. So yeah, this is kind of awkward on a telephone and we're on a Zoom. And so we just had some technical issues here, but I think it's important we get this done. I think our timing of speaking here today is pretty interesting. So, this morning we came out officially now, we've got the 2 down quarters of negative growth. And so I guess officially we are in a recession, so to speak. How this plays out, I have no friggin' idea. I always love to say that there are a lot of great minds out there in the business. And I basically follow the same views of our friend Frank Holmes and Rick Rule. Love these guys. They're on top of the game. And I think that's important for all of us to have those that we like and respect to use as mentors at this particular time. And so I always say to me, where we've got our common stock warrants, our database of all the stock warrants that are trading. And of course, there's a lot of mining companies in here, precious metals companies, lithium companies, a lot of interesting companies that do have stock warrants that are trading, as well as biotechs and all kind of technology companies. So the database has expanded greatly through the years. But again, my personal focus and interest, I guess, has always been in this mining sector. I've used the expression, the mining sector on a good day is terrible. Yeah. I mean, when we're making money, we just know it's not going to keep going forever. There's no such thing as long-term growth. It's a cyclical environment, all subjected to the price of gold and the economy and everything. And so if we get some good moves to the upside, there's never a confidence that it's going to last. But yet, when those upside moves come, there's some incredible gains to be made for those investors that are playing this game. And in the shares as well as in the stock warrants, that if there are warrants trading on some of these companies that you like in the mining space, that's cool. So that's kind of my overall take. I've got 3 or 4 companies that I'm more than willing just to share a little brief overview on.
Yeah,
that are in my personal portfolio.
Great. Yeah, we love to hear it. Dudley, you've been, you got a couple of years on me, not a lot, but you've been through many market cycles here. And before we get into those companies, just share with us your wisdom, what you've learned. You've probably been through 10, 15 up and down cycles throughout your life since you become an investor. So, you got some wisdom here. Tell us your feeling on it and what you've learned from previous downturns.
Well, I've got to believe there is a good chance that gold has just bottomed like 1 week ago. We're basically $100 up from the low that we just hit a week ago in gold. So we're having an incredible rally. Maybe short-lived, but on this announcement this morning of the of the negative growth and officially recession. We've got gold that's rocking and rolling pretty good, up 35 or so on the futures contract, December's future contract. Silver's up well over $1. So that's major move for silver. So the market is seeing something and trying to tell us something here. I've always been of the opinion that I don't know exactly when our sector is going to take off, the mining sector. I'm 100% confident that it will, and we're going to have another big run, meaning 10, 20, 50x gainers. I mean, some of these companies have been beaten down so bad that to say a 10 bagger doesn't even get you back to where it was 2 years ago. And so, but I always say an investor has to be in position, because when this does happen, it's probably going to happen fairly quickly. Coming off the bottom, they're going to double or triple overnight, and you got to be there. And so, yes, it takes a lot of patience to play this game, but it will be worth it at the end of the day to think that you're going to have the 10 to 20 to 30 percent gainers. It will be justified for waiting. So but the patience, I know, if you're a trader and trying to get in and out, this is probably not the sector for you. This is kind of buy what you like and hold. And let me give you an example here of one company. 2 years ago, this little company, New Range Gold. New Range Gold CEO is Robert Archer. I've known Robert Archer for 10, 12 years. We met early on at a mining conference, and have just kind of stayed friends and stayed in touch. And Robert used to be CEO of Great Panther Silver. And retired several years back, even though he's a hell of a lot younger than me. And I said, "What do you mean you retired?" And so, but now he's been back for a couple of years, and so that little company. They've got a few projects in Nevada, so great location. Mm-hmm. And they 2 years ago, a little company, NRG. On the venture, and NRG, I think it's OF, NRG OF on the pink sheets in the U.S. 2 years ago, it was selling in the 50-cent range. Right now, it's at 3 cents. Robert and I just talked, and he invited me to participate in a private placement. Get this, at 3 cents.
Wow!
How could I say no? Holy crap! So I'm topping off my position. Uh-huh. And I'll have a really nice position, and this coming with a full warrant and everything, exercisable at 5 cents. I mean, to me, a 10 bagger means it's going to 30 cents. That's just barely half of where the company was selling for, 2 years ago. So this is just one of many that I like. And you might say, in this case, I'm truly betting on the jockey being Robert Archer, that's been a success in the business. I think he's got a lot of followers, that respect him. And I think this is, I just think it's something to look at. And I always say, when you get down to the little bitty price companies, I guess what I always hate to see a stock rollback, meaning a reverse stock split. Right. I hate to see that myself. I don't see that coming, but that would be like the worst thing that would happen in my mind. Because I think we're looking at a year or two out that we're going to have great results here.
Why are rollbacks so injurious? Because it's just basically cutting a zero off the total number of shares, right?
Yeah. But it somehow just messes up the psychology. I know mathematically it all seems to make sense, but invariably after a rollback, the shares drift all the way back down again. In a weak market environment. And then you think, oh my God. Anyhow, but that's just one company that again, when you say in 3 cents, and so now when we're talking in the US market, we're talking about almost 2.5 cents a share.
Crazy.
Ridiculous. So it's like, I just say, I'm buying it, putting it away, got a position, now, well north of 1 million shares. Just going to wait and see what happens there. I've got another one that's
and nobody's paying you to say this, right? You're not getting paid to say good
Oh,
things
no,
about
no.
the company.
No,
right?
these are just
Your own holding.
So yeah, my subscribers know, and of course you're a subscriber, so you get to see my my portfolio, and so these positions are in my portfolio. I always look at it. It's all about picking the company first. Now, if that company happens to have stock warrants that are trading, well, that's great. Then I'll take a serious look at those warrants if there's enough life. These first ones, they don't have any warrants that will trade. And so it's just, but I like the common shares, or I like the management. So another good example is First Mining Gold. First Mining Gold is basically was formed by Keith Neumeyer at First Majestic. And so it's a lot of the same overlapping management team. These guys have got so many projects going on, and they've just announced a major acquisition up in the Quebec area. And here we are sitting at around, about 23, 24 cents Canadian and about 19 cents US. It's like, this is ridiculous. And it's just market environment right now. Nobody cares. Nobody wants these babies. They don't want them until all of a sudden they do want them. And then we're going to have the big moves.
And then they can't.
So I love that story, and a great management team. And for anybody listening, there's several articles all over Kitco. With this news release, this was just announced, I think, on Monday morning, or just recently on this acquisition First Mining's doing. So just an incredible story that I've been on board for some time. So I'm probably a little bit underwater on this transaction, but I've never doubted that at the end of the day, we're going to be big winners.
All right.
It's all about having the patience.
If you look at Newmont, now, normally when we go through a gold bull market, the majors are the first ones to be the beneficiaries. And then at the end, they're actually producing. At the end of the bull, they get slammed because their operating costs are up and the price of gold comes down. And this is exactly what happened in Newmont. They said that their costs were up 33%, or their profit was down 33%. They're kind of like the bellwether major gold stock here. Right now, it's trading at 45.55 as we speak, and I should mention the date's July 28th. So I'm looking at the chart on this, Dudley, the 1-year chart. My jaw is dropping. It's so far below its 1-year low from that hit that it took this week. It's kind of been taking the hit since the end of June. You could see it actually. It peaked in April, but end of June, it's literally a waterfall. And so there's an opportunity in the major as well.
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has a tight share structure, and with its current treasury, it can self-fund the advancement of its gold discovery into at least 2022. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Well, yeah, there definitely has to be, any of my commentary, I don't mean to dismiss any of the majors. I guess I always come from the standpoint more of let's say the little guy, the small investor that maybe only has $5, $10, $20, $50,000 to invest. Okay, well, that's not going to get you very far if you're buying the majors. And so, if the majors double or triple in a rip-roaring market, well, that's great. You made money, but you're never going to make the 10 times, 20 times your money, the big home run, so to speak. And so that's why I love kind of playing on the cheapies,
Yeah.
because I know that's where the potential big gainers will be coming from. And so that's just always been my style, but never to dismiss the big boys. And we know a lot of times the little companies or the speculative companies will be some of the last ones to probably greatly participate in this upcoming bull market. And I don't know that we've started it yet. I don't, my gut is probably not. We're going to do a lot of backing and filling here. And I think I think Frank Holmes' last take, if I read it correctly, is that gold may not take off until the Fed decides to start lowering interest rates. So I always use the expression, there's an inflection point coming. I don't know how to define what that's going to be,
and when,
but something coming.
Yeah, agreed. And who knows when, but it's probably sooner than later. Because one thing the sector blamed was the booming crypto markets. All this money going into crypto that should be going into precious metals as the ultimate guarantor of wealth, if you will, in uncertain times, and a hedge against political instability. Mm-hmm. Well, now we don't have the cryptos to kick around anymore. Bitcoin's trading down 2/3, and the sector's still getting slammed. So there's a capitulation coming, right? When is the capitulation? Is it going to be at 1,600, 1,500? I mean, I guess we don't know that exact date, but we do know.
I guess the overall question could be, where the hell have the speculators gone?
Yeah.
There was so much speculation in the crypto. There was so much speculation in the SPACs. Yes. With the SPACs and the SPAC warrants. And that, unfortunately, that sector just seems to have totally died.
Yeah.
And not in a good way for me, because I owned a lot of those SPAC warrants, and it's been a nightmare. I think partly to blame, or greatly to blame for this, is the SEC. I don't think they've ever liked them. They keep coming up with studies. They had a study that completed in May, and they've yet to announce what the result was of that study. I think they're killing the sector themselves.
Well, the SPACs are the latest iteration of the blank check companies, right? Blind trusts, really. Yeah. They don't call them blind trusts, but effectively they are, where you put money into a company, you don't really know what the heck they're going to do. Their filings are so generic, just the bare basic legal minimums that they lead to really, they're a sign of unbridled speculation in the market. And because they could wind up, and the SPACs aren't permitted to talk about what they're going to buy with the money they raise, right? So, it's kind of like the meme stocks, right? You could be buying a pig in a poke, right?
Yeah. Now, in the case of the SPACs, where basically they all come out at $10 a share, it's kind of the cookie cutter formula, and most, 99% will have a stock warrant attached to that offering. Well, the shareholders of the SPAC, let's say, if the SPAC decides to, hey, we can't find an acquisition, we're going to fold this baby up, the shareholders will receive their $10 back, plus probably interest while that money was sitting in a trust. But the warrant holders will get zero. And so that's the risk. We had some great moves. I had a nice position in the SPAC that became Lucid Motors, and made a really, really nice, 6-digit gain out of that transaction. So there's been some incredible winners, but right now, due to the cloud over the sector, the speculators have basically disappeared. And they're not in the mining space, and if they're not in the crypto, so where the hell did they go? Are they just looking for the next opportunity? We'd love for eventually that all the speculators of the world, focus on the mining space at one time, and that's going to take substantially higher prices for gold and silver. But I think that's a real possibility.
Yeah, well, among the shareholders in these juniors, and I'm one of them, of course, you really are, you're really seeing decimation there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, we're in a time that you might say the opportunities are incredible if you can find the right spot. I happen to think the right spot to get positioned is in the mining space. I always try to round it off the next 12 to 24 months. I would think we're going to have our day in the sun, which is going to be really great. I got to give you one example here that I don't share with many people, but way back, let me take you way back, 1979. Think about it. 79. I mean, inflation is running rampant back then. I am in Wallace, Idaho. In my past life as an IRS agent, but we were auditing the largest silver company in the world at the time, which was the Bunker Hill.
Right.
And so I spent many weeks up there over that summer of 79. I remember the last trip was in August of 1979. Gold's trading at like 250. Silver is at $9. Now, I was not playing the markets at the time, but now my awareness is 5 months later, gold has gone from 250 to 850. Silver has gone from $9 to $50. And it's like, this was 5 months. So incredible stuff. When all the stars align, so to speak, the multiples to be made with gold and silver. Of course, the shares are all skyrocketing as well at that point in time. And so a lot of really cool stuff can happen. But no, I just it was a cool time back at that place, with no knowledge of the mining sector or how to play it or anything, but just an awareness that we were underground there at Bunker Hill for many times, and interesting trip.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and we minimized what the previous background was. Okay, so what I used to do, but it is what it is, and it gave me the accounting skills and a lot of the knowledge to work with. One other little company I'll share, because I know so many people still think about uranium, and you think, and I know Rick Rule and the guys. I mean, it's always still about uranium, and uranium, the shares are going to have a big move again. The demand's going to come. Well, I kind of play this on the cheap, because I've gone and got a nice position in mega uranium, MGA, on the venture, and it trades in the States, MGA FF. It's like 22.5 cents on the venture, and less than 20 cents, let's say, the US. Well, the intriguing thing is, this is not the old mega uranium of the past, where they had a lot of exploration projects and all this stuff. Basically, they are a holding company. They have 3 equity positions now. Their largest is 22 million shares of Next Gen Energy, which one of the big uranium plays that everybody seems to love. Well, that's sitting at $5. Again, the little guy, how much of that can you buy at $5? But you can buy a lot more of mega. You're going to get an incredible multiple from mega uranium, let's just say at 20 cents. The upside potential is staggering. If it goes to $1, $2, $3, now we've made some serious money. So that's kind of the way I'm playing the uranium sector.
Hey, and mega uranium is what I would call a real company. It's not a concept company, right?
Yeah, no, it's basically at the moment a holding company. So meaning that they've got virtually no overhead. Mm-hmm. There's no way these guys can go out of business. There is what is the risk? There's zero risk. Yeah. And their other 2 holdings, I'm not really familiar with them, but gigantic holdings on two other uranium companies in Australia. And so their focus is still on uranium. I still, with full confidence, say this is going to be a winner for that 20 cent range. you're coming in through the back door, so to speak. Instead of buying next gen at $5, you're coming in through the back door for 20 cents and buying mega uranium that's got 20 million plus shares.
I like it. Low number of shares out. That means they can go buy other projects, and that means that when uranium spikes, who knows how high it could go. There's a sound case to be made for it. So, hey, this is why you got to go subscribe to Dudley's site. I'm a subscriber, commonstockwarrants.com. You're going to see companies there you never heard of. You're going to see Dudley's own personal holdings. He's totally transparent about this. You are Dudley. You're one of the good guys out there. You're not getting money from any of these companies. Your deal is your subscriber model. Your income comes from subscribers to your site. And there are companies out there you've got the warrants on that so much research would be required by an individual investor to figure out where those warrants were. You've got the whole synopsis, the strike date, the price, the exercise price, everything is right there. That's why I've been a big fan of your site for many years, even before it was named Common Stock Warrants.
Oh yeah. No, we go back a long ways. And now we've got all kind of filters on the website where you can sort any way that you want for a different industry that you're interested in. Mm-hmm. Just slice and dice the data that we've got in many different ways. So it's, but again, it's just me personally that the mining space is what I like, and so I tend to stay in that space. And when we're down for a long time, you just think, well, why the hell am I in this space? We're kind of biding our time, waiting for this opportunity. So we do need to keep our eyes open to what else is going on in the world and not just get hung up on one sector, because these are long down cycles. Let's just say 10, 12 years is nothing here in the mining space. So where we peaked, early 2011, now we're 11 years into this baby, 11 and a half years since we peaked. And so if you've ridden it the whole way, sometimes I'm really good about getting in and out in this whole process. Had several 10 baggers along the way, 10 plus baggers, and which is cool. And it's almost when the markets give you that, you got to take it. You really have got to take it.
Always take money off the table. That is one thing I've learned over the years. And I also like your weekly missives and your take on things. Mm-hmm. That's something I really appreciate. So go over to commonstockwarrants.com, sign up for Dudley's service, highly recommended. It really is information that would take you so much time to accumulate elsewhere. And plus you get the benefit of Dudley's portfolio and experience. Nothing in it for me. I'm just telling you, this is one of my go-to sources. And I've known you, Dudley, since I got into this, since I started the podcast, the YouTube channel, everything else. If you got a question for Dudley, you can shoot me an email. And I'd like to know what's happened with you in your mining stock investments when they have gone up, like in 16 and in 21. Did you get out? Did you take money off the table? Because the old saw, Dudley, you never go broke taking a profit on Wall Street. You always got to have an exit strategy, right?
Exactly. And I can look back and say a lot of times I did take profits. Other ones that didn't really participate, I may still be holding the same companies. And I do look at some of these little mining companies that, God, they've been around 15, 20 years or longer, never found anything. Little exploration plays, a lot of them here in Mexico, all selling for less than 10 cents. But the deal is they stay in business. They keep the lights on. They are primed for the next up cycle that they're going to be 10 backers again. And so, but yes, we all have to get better on that sell side.
Yep.
And I'd like to think that this next up cycle that we'll all be selling way too soon. But we'll be happy because we'll be selling it at 10 or 20 times. And so if we miss it, maybe hang on to a little of your position. Always like the 80-20 rule, maybe sell 80%, hang on to 20. That 20% may end up being more than the 80% that you just sold if we continue on up to much higher levels.
All right.
So it's a fascinating sector that's been down and out for so long, and it will have its day in the sun one more time.
All right. Junior mining is down, but not out. And we'll leave it at that. Dudley, really appreciate you coming on. Again, if you got a question for Dudley, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. We'll get you an answer. And like I said, I want to know what your experience has been. You've all taken losses. I have too over the past year on these stocks when it appeared that the cycle is ready to take off. And it's kind of like you keep getting that thing that it's going to go up, and then it disappoints. But eventually that day will come. Dudley, really appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you again real soon.
You bet. Glad to be here.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.